are not attracted to your partner because he was a carbon copy of yourself. You are attracted to your partner precisely because he or she is unlike you. So let your differences enrich your relationship and not work against you. Let's take myth number 4. Happy couples don't have conflicts or issues. Happy couples don't have conflicts or issues. Now lie, big time. The happy couples, unhappy couples have the same set of issues to deal with. The difference is how they deal with them. So the mere fact that you and your partner have issues, you quarrel or you argue over issues, don't throw your hands up and say that the devil has come in. It's not the devil, it's life working out. But this is the secret. Conflicts in marriage, when they are resolved right, are always a key that takes the relationship to another level. Whenever there's a conflict and you resolve it right, your relationship never comes back to where it was. It becomes richer, it becomes closer, and it becomes stronger. So don't be afraid of conflicts at all. Myth number 5. Happy couples have to do everything together. Happy couples have to do everything together. Oh, that is a myth. It's a lie. At least, but do me never follow your partner to the bath, to the washroom. You may not love the person anymore. No, you don't have to. You don't have to. Sometimes it's the space we create for each other, we allow each other to have, that makes our coming together richer. So don't insist that if you love me, if we have a good relationship, if we want to build a good relationship, we should do everything together. No. Then there will be no space, and one of you will feel stifled. Myth number 6. Married people, and this is a myth, married people have less satisfying sex lives and have less sex than single people. Another big lie. Big lie. Listen to me. Married people have more sex. They have happier sex. They enjoy sex more physically and emotionally than single people. Take it from me. I've been married for 34 years, and I know what I'm talking about. Well, myth number 7. Those who are yet to now go to war, shut up and listen to the to the veteran of war talking. Myth number 7. Couples who live together before marriage have a more satisfying and longer lasting marriages than couples who do not. In other words, I hear this a lot. People say, well, you have to taste and see. Well, marriage is not a sana. It's not the kind of thing you taste before you decide to buy. No, it takes commitment. And indeed, what studies have found is this. Couples who live together before they marry, have a higher chance of breaking up. They have a higher chance of breaking up. So, don't fall for that lie. Myth number 8. Marriage would end your loneliness. Oh, another myth. No, that is not true. Listen. If you do not learn to deal with loneliness before you marry, marriage would make you even more lonely. It would deepen your loneliness. Every one of us will need to learn to deal with loneliness. And it's not a bad thing. Loneliness is you learning to live with yourself, by yourself, and for yourself. And it is a good thing to discover yourself. So don't be afraid of loneliness. Myth number 9. You are not complete until you marry. I hear this thrown at Ghanaian ladies a lot. Oh, you're a woman. You are not, as for a woman, you can't be complete until you marry her. That's another lie. You are complete. Indeed, if you are not complete and you marry, you will kill the relationship. You put undue pressure on the relationship. In other words, you should have confidence in yourself. You should know that you'll be okay with or without the marriage. Until you get to that point and you depend only on the marriage for your validation, you are in trouble. Myth number 10. A man will by all means cheat on his wife. Not true. Not true. There are 2 implications from this myth. The first implication is that men cheat more than women. Again, not true. And our culture itself confirms that. The second implication from this myth is that it is inevitable that a man will cheat. No, that is not true. There are people who are more prone to cheat. That's true. Because of the models, the role models they've had growing up. Because of the behavior of their parents, of their fathers, and things like that. But most men don't cheat. Thank God that is not the case. And the few who do, among those who do, a number of them, quite a large proportion of them, are driven into it by factors that we don't have time to go into. Myth number 11, everyone must marry by all means. This sounds like a myth made in Ghana. In Ghana, we will force everybody to get married. Young ladies who are not married know this. You go to church and that's all people want to talk about. When are you marrying? When are you marrying? No, not everybody can marry, and not everybody should marry. There are people whose goals, whose aspirations would make marriage nonsense of marriage, and they should not be forced into it. So let's respect people's individual decisions, choices in this. If the person thinks I'm okay being single, back off. Don't push her to get married because it is not a must. Myth number 12, romance would always be present if the marriage is good. Well, the truth is this. In marriage, there are peaks and valleys. Or there are times when you can't get enough of each other. But there are times when you wake up in the middle of the night and you look at your partner and you want to stifle, you want to kill the person. There are peaks and valleys. So it will not always be there. But thank God, romance does not have to die completely. 13, myth number 13, marriage will make me happy. Listen, your happiness is your own responsibility. It is not the responsibility of your spouse or of marriage. Marriage won't make you happy. If you are not happy, marriage will make you happy. It will make you even more depressed. So learn to make yourself happy and you'll be fine. Myth number 14, oh, he will change when we marry. I hear this being said about bad boys. The boy is messing up as a boyfriend. And then the person says, oh, no, don't worry. When we marry, you lie bad. He will get worse. He will get worse because now he knows he's got you where he needs you. You have no other choice but to stay. He will then help himself and do all kinds of things. So he won't change. And then myth number 15. The more educated a woman is, the lower her chances of getting married. I've actually met women who refuse to go and do their masters until they get married. They are cheating themselves, because they've bought into this myth that the more educated a woman is, the lower her chances of getting married. No, that's not true. There have been studies that have shown that educated women get married better. They make better choices when they finally decide to settle down, and they are treated better by their spouses than their cousins who don't have that much education. So, lady, go to school. Why? Go and do your master's. Go and do that master's that you've been waiting for the man. Go and do it. When you finish the master's, he will come, and then he will treat you better. But there's another myth, myth number 16, that is very closely related to this myth. And it says this, women with higher education make difficult wives. And so there are families where they would ask you, the woman you are going to marry, what's the educational background? As soon as you say she has a master's, no, you can't marry a woman with a master's. They don't know what they are missing. Listen to me. If you're a man and you marry a woman whose educational background is way higher than yours, you have issues in your marriage. But it is not because of a higher education. It is because you yourself will feel inferior. You feel inadequate compared because of her background, and possibly even because of her position and the job she's holding. So that is why you would have issues. But generally, women with higher education make better wives, and they are sweeter, and they make better homemakers because they have enlightenment and they know what's up. So those are the myths of marriage. We have covered a number of them. So let me move on to the second M word for today. M for maintenance. Now listen to me. There are no great marriages. There are well-maintained marriages. Did you hear me? There are no great marriages. No marriage by itself is great. No marriage becomes wonderful by itself. Marriages that become wonderful when there's vigilance, when they are well kept. So there are no great marriages. They are only well-maintained marriages. So it is about, because marriage will not, it won't take care of itself. You have to. You may marry with all the love, but if you don't pay attention and keep doing the things that made you fall in love, you will discover that the relationship, the two of you drift apart and your love will get cold. So let's look at a few ideas on how to maintain your marriage. 1, to maintain a good marriage or a good relationship, maintain a good relationship with yourself. Maintain a good relationship with yourself. In other words, look out for yourself. Take better care of yourself. Pursue some of the things you are interested in. Have a life of your own. Keep yourself well. Every now and then, do things that make you happy. When you are happy, you can give happiness. Because you see, you cannot give what you don't have. You cannot give what you don't have. 2, continue to build a memory bank. Widen what is inside your deposit in your memory banks. How do you build memory banks as a couple? Do some things together from time to time. Or make trips together. Take a trip. Take a trip. You're going on a trek. Let your spouse follow you. Especially if you are working with a good company where they will book you into a good hotel. Oh, take your spouse along. When you are going to work, let your spouse order room service and sleep. By the time you come back home, he's ready for you or she's ready for you. It will be fun. And then if, for instance, you traveled on the road and you are driving yourselves, oh, you can then make a whole relationship with it. Now, so build memory banks. Now, the key thing, the reason why we need to build memory banks at the beginning of our relationship is that every relationship will hit hard times and dry times. So on those times, review your memory. Go into your memory bank. Do you remember the time when we were at Pando? Do you remember the troubles we had on the way to Sunyani? Do you remember when we had a flat tire here? Those are memory banks. Or do you remember that evening we spent at this hotel? Memory banks, memory banks. Oh, do you remember the time we went to Japan or China? Or, instead of saving the money to build houses that you won't live in for too long, get your memories, get a memory bank. Now, 3, work on ensuring respect for each other. Marriage, after you've been married for a time, you are likely to lose respect for each other, and watch that. Continue to treat each other with respect, and that would work. 4, don't sweep issues under the carpet. Learn to deal with issues as they come up. Some of the problems we have in marriages is that one party has so many things, so much on his or her mind and on her heart, and there's no avenue created for some of these things to be aired. And then it bottles up and it messes everything up. So don't sweep things under the carpet. Make time for you and your spouse to sit down and talk about issues. Talk openly about issues. Honestly about issues. 5, don't take each other for granted. These days, especially for those in the corporate world, there used to be a time, my father didn't have this kind of issue because my mother was in the market. Her time was very flexible. But when the two of you are in the corporate world and you live in some of the expensive places in Accra, decent places in Accra, but they are all very far away from our workplaces, then you can go for a week and you and your spouse have not spoken. Because one of you comes when the other party is asleep and leaves before the other party wakes up. So if that's the kind of life you have, at least over the weekends, don't rush out of the house. Don't rush out of the house for that funeral. Otherwise, very soon to be your funeral, and you'll not be mourned. Don't rush out of the house for that wedding. There's nothing more painful than to rush to a wedding. You have to wait for 1.5 hours before the bride comes. So make time. Wake up. Sit in the bed or lie in the bed and just talk. Just talk. Talk. And if there's nothing to talk about, play. And then make memory banks. Make memory banks. Well, let's go to the next idea. Continue to date each other. It's unfortunate that as soon as we marry, dating goes out of the window. Let me share with you an approach a friend of mine had. This is a man who is not correct in any other way apart from in this way. But he decided he would not share the same room with his wife. So every now and then he would tell the wife, my dear, today at 7 p.m., a very handsome young man will come and visit you. Can you prepare for him? And then he would go and dress his best, go and buy flowers and buy some other gifts and go to the door and knock at the door. And the wife would go, who is it? And he said, it's your lover. I'm here. And open the door and go through the whole process of dating again. Well, you may not be able to do something as elaborate as that. You may not even be living in a room with more than one bedroom. So for you, that may not work out. But you get the idea. Find ways to date each other. Find ways to date each other. One of my exciting times was when I was in the U.S. I was flying and making transit in an airport. And I find this man who had hosted me at one of the states I had visited. And I asked him what he was doing there. And he tells me he had traveled, let's say, if it was Ghana, he had traveled to Tamale for business. He had been there for a week. So what he had done is that he had flown into Kumasi and asked his wife to fly also into Kumasi. So they meet halfway. They spend the weekend there before they fly home together. And I thought that was a wonderful thing. 7, don't ignore each other. Don't ignore each other. After a number of years, one of you even returns from town. The other is not interested that you've come. Gone are the days, sometimes it begins by, have you come? The Ghanaian would always ask you a question that has no answer. Have you come? How do you answer? Have you come? It's like when somebody wakes you up and says, are you asleep? Are you sleeping? Have you come? Now, after a while, oh, that's him, oh, that's her. And you ignore each other. No. At least make time to acknowledge each other. Stop what you are doing. Go welcome the other party who is come. Or if you are the one entering, look for your partner so you can at least greet. Don't ignore each other. 8, show and demonstrate appreciation. Don't take the things that are done for you by your spouse for granted and say, oh, yeah. No, say thank you. Say thank you. And say more than thank you. Say, I really enjoyed that. Oh, that was wonderful. Oh, when you run the bath for me, oh, I love it. It puts my day in a good way. 9, learn to apologize effectively. Open that mouth of yours and say, I am sorry. And don't do, I am sorry, but. That is not an apology. I am sorry. Full stop. 10, be interested in each other's world. Be interested. Ask questions. So how did it go today? How did the meeting go? How did that seminar go? Ask questions. How was it at the funeral? How was it at the outdooring? Be interested in each other's lives. 11, surprise each other from time to time. Create surprises. Surprise each other from time to time. And 12, discover each other's love language and learn to speak it. We dealt with love language last week, so if you go to the previous clips on YouTube, and so you'll find it. 13, learn to read each other's body language. That is important. Sometimes if you read the body language, you can tell what is going on. 14, don't use sex as a weapon to punish your spouse. This goes to all. And I've discovered that it's not only women. I thought it was women who use sex as a weapon. But I've realized that some men also use it as a weapon for mass destruction. Not good enough. No. One of my friends said, when my wife and I fight, this thing is not part of the fight. Yes, no. He said it in Chi. He said, yeah, car, where the encounter. So I think if you can create that as the buffer zone, let sex be the peace zone. Do you understand me? No man's land. Let it be. Don't bring any conflict inside there. Having said that, if you know you've hurt the girl, apologize before you begin to ask her, are you asleep? She'll sleep big time. 15, 15, and I would end with 15. Continue to learn about marriage. Don't assume you know everything. Continue to learn. A program like this is useful. It would be wonderful if you can listen to it together with your spouse. But if not, you continue to learn. Continue to read. So, we've done 2 M words. We've done myths. We've done the maintenance. Now, I'll go on to my 3rd M word. And I said this is going to be controversial. I stumbled into masturbation when I was 17. I was reading an erotic material. And then I felt this bulge down, you know where it is. And I began to scratch it. And before I realized, I was in a different world altogether. I was shocked, but I was also fascinated. Because I'd never known that kind of feeling before, that kind of thing. And that is what set me in the journey into masturbation. I was a captive of masturbation for many years, for 7 years. For 7 years, I got deeper and deeper into masturbation. But at that time, when it started, I didn't even know what it was. I didn't know it had a name. So for a long time, I thought it was my secret, you know, and so I couldn't bring myself to talk to anybody. Who do you go to talk to? Who do you go to talk to and say that I robbed myself somewhere and something happened? I mean, that's not the kind of conversation you can have. So I began to search. I went to libraries. I went to everywhere. Finally, I came upon a book, and then I discovered it had a name. It was called masturbation. And from then, I began to search for masturbation. And then I discovered that over 60% of boys masturbate. Over 60%. No, it is a very high percentage, 60%. Let me say 60%. No, somebody is saying 80%. Somebody who knows what he's talking about says 80%. No, listen, my research said over 60% of boys. So let me work with over 60%. And then I discovered, then I wanted to know, what is this? Is it good? Is it bad? And then I began to read, and I realized that there wasn't a consensus on that. There are people who think it is normal, it is a good form of release, and you should continue and to embrace it. And then there are those who say, no, this one is not good enough. So, then I had to go with my own experience, and this is my experience. What I discovered was this. Anytime I masturbated, I hated myself. I loathed myself after it. And I realized that it was eating my self-esteem. It was messing my life up. And so I then began to look for ways of cutting it. And mercifully, and thank God, I found a way out of masturbation. And I think, well, I'm trying to remember the last time I might have masturbated. That would be about 1978. So that is a long one. So in a sense of the girls, I've heard this concept being said. Girls who say after they've been sexually active for some time, they say, "Oh, I've stopped having sex, so I have secondary virginity." So yes, I have not masturbated since 1978, and that is for me is an exciting thing. But this is my experience about masturbation, and that's why I want to share with you. When you masturbate, you erode your self-confidence. And I'm sure there are many people who can confirm this. It does something to your self-image. And therefore, you would have to take a decision, decide whether you want to walk around with this aspect of your life that you are not comfortable with and you feel ashamed about. 2, masturbation can affect your ability to love a woman as you need to. Masturbation does not require foreplay. And so if you become very hooked to masturbation, you may not even know how to relate to a woman sexually. You will not do it right because you are used to climaxing, ejaculating without foreplay. You may do the same thing there. So that is not too good. 3, in masturbation, you ejaculate. In sex, you reach your orgasm. The two are not the same. The mere fact that you pissed doesn't mean that That was orgasm. No, that is not it. You know, in orgasm, certain hormones are released. They are we call them the feel-good hormones, like oxytocin. And the idea of oxytocin is for you to now turn to your partner and be tender and loving and sweet. Now, when you masturbate and you ejaculate, oxytocins will be released. But where do they go? You have nobody to pour it on, to pour it into. And that is why it turns into the negative, and you begin to loathe yourself. And that is why you should consider giving it up and wait till you get into marriage. Now, let's go to our next word, M for money. M for money. Yes, it is true that money cannot buy love, but trust me, love thrives where there is money. Hey, the rich people's love life is sweet. Oh. If you don't have money, you say what? Listen to me. Money in marriage is the engine oil. No matter how well engineered your car is, without engine oil, that car will have issues. Money lubricates your love in your marriage. So let's talk about money issues. So the first thing is, number one, don't underestimate the impact of lack of money on your relationship. Don't underestimate it. The lack of money can kill your relationship. Two, talk about money, you and your spouse, and find out how much money you will need to you both generate. That's before you marry. Find out what your income levels are, and then work out how much you will need to live together. If you don't have enough, don't marry. You will make each other miserable. So, and then three, explore income generating options. Begin to work at generating more income. Four, cut down on your expenses. Do you need that many shoes? Do you need those many wigs? Let's cut down. Let's spend for investment and not for consumption. Four, if it is at all possible, you and your spouse don't work in the same company. Don't work in the same company. Otherwise, when that company hits trouble, both of you are home. You know, in Ghana, not quite too long ago, 2 banks collapsed. If you and your wife were working in any of those banks, you are home. So if it's at all possible, work in different companies and in different sectors. So that if one sector is in trouble, you are covered. Next, build a savings habit. Open a savings account. Put a percentage of your earnings into it and close your mind to it and just continue building it. Make a distinction between investment and expenditure, and go for investment over expenditure. 7, stop taking what you have not earned. And I'm talking to Ghanaians at this point. Ghanaians are the people who, when they've done what they are paid to do for you, still ask for something from you. I have been in an office where they have said, if you don't put weight on your file, the air will blow it away. And the way they are talking about is put some money down. Well, there's a spiritual principle. Whatever you haven't earned, if you take, it will be taken from you with interest. And then finally, one of you, if not both, should prepare to go into self-employment. So leave the 5-to-8 job and go into self-employment. So that brings me to my M words. Remember, M for myth, M for maintenance, M for masturbation, and M for money. Now my bonus word for today, M for man. M for man. And this is how I spell man. M for mastery. A man must have mastery over himself. He must have mastery over his talents, and he must be a master of his environment and master relationships as well. 2, A. The M is for mastery. A for adult. A man is an adult. He's not a boy. So stop being a boy and take responsibility. An adult takes responsibility. An adult does not take on certain risk. An adult does not adopt certain lifestyle and does not go for escapades. And for noble, you must be admirable, You must be trustworthy. So that is my bonus word for man. M for mastery, A for adult, and N for noble. So thank you very much for watching. I'll now pause here. We'll take a little break, and when we come back, I'll take your questions. So let's keep the conversation going, shall we? And let your friend join you, and let's have fun. All right, thank you very much for staying with us. Let's have your questions now. So if there's a question ready, let us go.
Well, we welcome you once again to MTN House.
Yes, it's always a joy to be here.
I think I shouldn't be welcoming you again because we are now partners in this. And
yes, indeed.
You are part of us now.
Yeah.
Okay. I was at National Theatre on Wednesday.
Oh, were you?
Yes,
Nicholas!
And I watched a very interesting play. I must commend you for that. You are really doing a good job. I think there's a new twist to it, and
yeah.
I'm sure more people will be coming in with their life stories. I'm yet to see.
That's wonderful. Yeah.
I'm yet to see some interesting ones. I don't want to mention names.
All right. Okay.
Okay. I want to remind those listening to us that you can get Nicholas tickets on MTN Mobile Money. So the number is 054-66-94444. It will be put on the screen so that anyone who wants to buy Nicholas can get it. It's showing this weekend. Don't miss it. Okay, but we have a lot of interesting questions for you. Andrew is asking, is it good to have TV in the room?
In your bedroom?
Yes, please.
How many rooms do you have, Andrew? Well, if all right. Andrew, somebody who likes you so very much has exposed you and has shown us where it's coming from. No, the problem with TV in the room is when the two of you cannot agree on what to watch. You know, when I was growing up and there was only GBC, it was very easy. You had one channel, whether you like it or not, you are watching it. But these days, especially those who are rich enough to have DSTV, you want to watch sports. She wants to watch something, and it becomes, and then, or one party wants to sleep, and the volume, and then it becomes an issue. I think it will be in your interest to keep TV out of your room. Oh, and whilst we're talking about it, when you get into the room, to put off your phones.
Okay, we have another one from Aramide Lawal. She says, is it okay to start discussing financial issues, and how will it be handled whilst dating?
Well, as soon as you set dates, don't raise it too early. But as soon as the two of you settle down and you set a date, we are going to get married this time. Let's go and see my people. Let me go and see your people. Let's go and see pastor. Let's begin to plan. That is a point where you begin to talk about money. And don't underestimate the effect of mishandling of money can have in your relationship.
All right, Uncle, we want to say thank you to Abednego Okanse, Nana Yao Aquamensa, Nana Buna Techiwa Opoku, Nefetiti Ayele, Ejay Enyo Namafi, Frimpoma Ruth Abuaje, and Belinda Latte for joining us today. Our question today, Uncle, I'm a lady who can't open up but keeps issues in me, and with time I accept things as they are. Can you please give me advice? From Rhoda.
I think it has to do with your background. You might have lived in an environment where you didn't quite feel that you belonged, or you didn't feel wholly a part of the family, and therefore you had to keep to yourself. As you grow up, remember that your life has changed. So begin to change that perception of yourself. Begin to change that. It is in your interest to express yourself and to express your feelings. Otherwise, people will hurt you and they wouldn't even know they have hurt you. Every now and then, speak out and communicate your feelings, and you'll be fine.
Just by the way, the masturbation done by women, that one too, is it masturbation? From Viva.
What was the question? What was the question?
The masturbation done by women, is
the
that
masturbation done by women, is it masturbation? Is that not a question?
Yes, that's the question.
Okay. I think the question answers itself.
Uncle, we have one from Lodina Jabin. She says, Uncle, how will you be interested or participate in the love making when he had just done something wrong and immediately ask for it?
It's difficult but you see, you remember what you said on your wedding? For better, for worse. This is worse. It's part of what you signed for. He shouldn't ask for it, but he would demand it. And sometimes for some men, that is their way of apologizing. So give him what he wants, and after that, when the oxytocins have kicked in, tell him that, Kojo, you know, the way you treat me, I am not happy with it. And you see him apologizing. There's a better way of doing it, but I won't say it in public. You know, there's a certain point where you can stop a man and say, let's talk about what you just did. At that point, he will give you anything. He will give you anything. But it's not something I would like to put on in public. Yeah.
From TK, Uncle, she is not here working after her national service, but she won't listen when I ask her to try and learn a hand work as a bonus to her profession. Please advise, because she always has an excuse. This too reserved thing, I don't understand.
This what?
What is this too reserved thing like?
My brother, do you have an issue with that one? Somebody says I'm reserved. You too, you have an issue. Anyway, your girlfriend who does not want to learn any trade, once somebody becomes your girlfriend or your boyfriend, you lose the right to instruct them. It won't work. The time to have encouraged her to learn a trade is before she became girlfriend. So now, if you like, go through somebody else. She will listen better.
Okay, we have Juliet Ofori, who is also watching now. She says, stop taking what you have not earned. I think she's just hammering on the part you made here.
Yes.
We have Wafo Isaac, and he says, Uncle, I'm about to marry a lady who is not working. Should I go ahead?
Ike, my order. Why are you throwing this question to me? I don't know, Ike. What are your plans? How much do you earn, Ike? How much do you earn? Why is she not working? And what are your plans for her? There are too many things I don't know about this for me to comment on it.
From our YouTube channel, Emmanuel Donko, is it always right to tell your partner exactly how you feel at the moment? Example, you dislike your partner's smiles in pictures.
You dislike your partner's what?
Smiles. In pictures.
In pictures?
Yes.
In pictures?
Yes.
You don't like the way your partner smiles when he takes a picture?
Is it always right to tell your partner exactly how you feel at the moment?
No, not in the moment. Not in the moment. There's always a right time. Choose your time carefully. And then choose your battles carefully. Because when you talk and when you express it, he may also come back at you. So just be ready and be prepared for it. But choose the time carefully. And then choose the issues also carefully.
Okay, we have one from Loretta Asari. She says, Uncle, what do you do if your husband gets tired of your presence at home and refuses to communicate to resolve issues to prevent apologizing when wrong?
Your husband gets tired of your presence at home. Do you work from home? What's the issue? Are you home all the time? Are you around him all the time? If you are, change a few things. Have a life of your own. And because, ladies, let me tell you a secret. When a man discovers that his wife doesn't need him, he makes himself more available to her. If he gets the impression that she needs me, then he begins to mess around. So, have a life of your own.
We have a comment here from Kojo. Uncle Ebo, to be fair to we guys, you must provide a percentage of females who engage in masturbation so we know where we stand. And from America, Wow, Uncle, that was a very humbling thing to do in sharing your experience with masturbation. I pray most guys who are in that same situation now can also experience redemption from it. God bless you.
Thank you.
Dale Lawal says, thanks, Uncle. I think you answered her question.
Okay.
We have one from Catherine Anderson. How can I be a part of this program as I want to attend?
Oh, okay. Note the number, call one of my guys, and we would arrange for you to join us. But if you take yourself seriously, don't come. Because nobody in my team is serious. They are crazy. So if you love craziness, then join us. Join us. No, they are not cheap boys, but they are crazy. Even the ones who don't look crazy are crazy.
We have Tabitha Na Oshedu Sowa here. She says, my youth ministry will invite you next year for a talk. What's the procedure to follow?
I am available to churches only on Sundays. So if it is part of the Sunday service, yes, I don't charge churches. During the week, I work to make money small so I can serve the churches for free. So to companies, I'm available during the working week. But for churches, I am available only on Sunday mornings. No other time. And I don't charge churches. I've never charged churches. I've never charged schools.
Hi, Uncle. Listening to you always. Is it advisable for a couple to have joint account or separate account?
No. No, I don't recommend it. I don't recommend it. I know that for some people, they think it is a mark of love that we have joint accounts. All those who have done it have scars to show that it doesn't work. It is not advisable. So keep separate accounts.
Uncle, you said something about saving.
Yes, so that is different. You save, me too I save. What's your problem? Did I say you should save together?
Let me finish the question.
I apologize.
You're welcome.
Okay, go, finish.
All right. She said, is it advisable for a couple to have a joint account or separate accounts, but one partner should have access to the other partner's account?
Then when does it become separate accounts? If it is my name and you have my ATM in your pocket or in your purse, anyway, I think I've answered the question.
If your partner is not the talkative type, how do you involve him in your talking? Because even if you hurt him, he will choose not to talk over it.
Those who are not talkative often love to listen, and so you talk. He loves to hear you. And with time, he would begin to talk some.
We have Ken Solomon Kome here.
Ken, welcome. Ken Solomon made us very excited the last time. So Ken, we still remember you. You had a cheer in the background.
He says, good day, Uncle. Thanks for the words. My question, please. You said one should have money before marrying. Which should be between the two? That's the man and woman, or the man only? I think the question is, who should have the money? Is it between the two or the man only?
It works better when both of you have independent means of income. Otherwise, you have a situation where if, for instance, the man is a breadwinner, with time, as you go to him every time for salt, for bread, for water, for things, for your makeup, for your powder and things like that, for spray, one day, he will begin to talk nonsense to you. It's human nature. It's not him. It's just that when we think somebody depends on us, we are not careful with our words any longer. Now, where the two of you make a decision that one party the wife should become a housewife, at the time you take the decision, also agree how much money she can expect from you every month. Every month. Not some months, every month. So If you decide that because of the children, my dear, you stay home and raise the children for us, then I agree also that every month you're going to give me 500. That 500 is not chop money. It's different from chop money. 500 is for my how far. You know, it's for my ways and means. You don't ask me. So you don't come back to me and say, well, the money I gave you, what did you do with it? It's not your money anymore. And so you don't have the right. If we can do that, I think that will work.
Okay, we have a question on our WhatsApp number. It's anonymous. She says, please, my husband does not give me chop money because I'm also working. Advise me, uncle.
All right, have a chat with your husband. Have a chat with your husband. Find out why he's not giving you. Why is he not paying? Why is he not paying his part of what he eats in the house? Unless he is paying utilities and other bills, and is expecting you to put food on the table. But even then, I think the two of you should know what the quantum is, so one person is not carrying too much weight.
We have one from Joe. He's in China. He says, God bless you, uncle, for all you are doing to help relationships. Please, how can those of us overseas watch your place?
Pray with that, Joe, that one day we'll get, the doors will open for us to take a world tour. And of course, China will be one of the places we would love to visit.
Uncle, major myth in marriage and relationships. The sweet words and text messages may not always come when they don't...
Wait, start.
Uncle.
Yeah.
Major myth in marriage
yes.
and relationships.
Uh-huh.
The sweet words and text messages may not always come. When they don't come anymore, don't dispute the fact that he loves you.
And this comes from?
Anonymous.
All right, Anonymous, well done. Yeah, I couldn't have said it better. Thank you.
Uncle, God bless you so much for always educating us. Please, is it advisable to marry a man with 3 kids and also 20 years older than you?
How many kids do you have? How many kids do you have? And what is this man's earning capacity? What are your circumstances? There are too many issues to it that I will not be able to speak to it.
Uncle, we have one person here. He says, I have a problem with my wife for not replying to my messages I send her. But let me take it again. I always have a problem with my wife for not replying to messages I send to her. Important ones, but always it indicates that she's online or has checked the message, but will not reply. Is it that someone is keeping her company?
Don't do that. I assume that the two of you are not in the same geographical location. Because if you are, why haven't you had a discussion as to what is going on? But if you are away, you are separated by geography, then that becomes a different issue altogether. Find out, maybe the tone in which you communicate your messages is offensive. And she's decided that rather than respond in kind, she would let some of those things slide. One of my adopted daughters is in a long relationship, a long-distance relationship. And sometimes the young man sends some very silly messages. And she's learned not to respond to them until he's overcome whatever it is he's eating up and sends a more civil message. She doesn't respond. And I think that watch the tone and your demands you are making, and let's see whether you won't get another better response.
Uncle Ebo, how can one deal with a new relationship, especially after having a baby and finding it difficult to go into another relationship? It's scary.
Come again.
How can one deal with a new relationship, especially after having a baby and finding it difficult to go into another relationship? The lady might be a single mom. Yes.
No, but you know what I don't understand is that has she just had the baby? or she has a child and doesn't know how, and then she says a new relationship. My sister, you're already in the relationship. Why are you asking me how to get into it when you're already inside? Yeah, let's go on.
Okay. I did something serious that has pained my wife so much and have apologized to her a couple of times, but she still has it in her heart. So what should I do?
Give her time. Give her time. She'll get over it. And be consistent from now on. Don't go back to what it is that you did wrong, and she will get over it.
We have one question here. It's also from an anonymous person. It says, how do I deal with my sister-in-law's strong influence on my marriage? Because she was a mother figure to my husband when he was young and their mom wasn't available.
Don't fight her. Just live your life. Love your husband. Relate. Do what you ought to do the best you can, and ignore her. Otherwise, because you can't compete with her. You can't compete with her. Her hold on your husband is stronger than your hold would be for now. You will get to a point where it will change, but if it hasn't reached there, don't force it. Yes, shall we? We're done with the questions?
Just one more.
Okay.
Uncle, I am in a young relationship. My girlfriend is beautiful and very sweet. Just that she has this thing I think is beginning to drive me crazy or drive me away. Sometimes I get the feeling our relationship is a lecture hall and she is my lecturer. This is because she's always insisting on how she wants to be treated and loved. More like giving me a prescription. If I miss one wahala, I will get an earful of bashing. I don't have the energy to argue back, and when that happens, I coil and keep quiet. How do I make her understand that I am a human being and I can make mistakes? And when I do, she should not doubt the fact that I love her. I am gradually fading away. From Emmanuel Sechi.
What's the name?
Emmanuel.
Emmanuel, there's a good reason why the rose has thorns. You say your girlfriend is beautiful and sweet. Well, why do you think she's beautiful and sweet? So you will stay. So please, you can't have it all. You can't have it all. Ask anybody relating to a beautiful woman. They will tell you their stories. It is not easy. Yours is even easy because the issue is coming from her. In other cases, anytime the girl goes out, the man cannot sleep. Because you know your wife is so beautiful, any car passing is a potential competitor. I'm making light of your pain, but no, don't be upset. If she lectures you, just remember that she is being a woman. Women love to lecture us. Sometimes they want to treat us as their children. But rise above it. Don't fight back. Listen. And from time to time, you to put in a word. After all, even in a lecture hall, we students, we get to ask questions, don't we? And we get to write essays too. So from time to time, you to write your essay. But there's a price to pay for dating a beautiful girl. God has blessed you with one. Pay the price and remain the envy of your friends. Okay? Well, no, it's true. When you're dating a beautiful girl, everybody envies you. You know, it's like when you're wearing nice shoes and they are pinching you. I mean, walk with confidence. I mean, when you get home, you can then feel the pain, but outside, don't feel the pain. Well, I'd like to thank you for joining us. I'd like to say thank you to MTN, to our team here for welcoming us. This is the last Friday of the month, and every last Friday of the month, we join our MTN colleagues, and we have a great time. And they always treat us well, and we are grateful. And grateful to you for making the investment of time and data to stay on. May the coming days bring you even more joy, and may you find victory in your life. May you find prosperity in your life and provision. May provision be provided for you. If you are not well, may you receive healing. And may your brokerages be over, because we talked about money today. May God give you wisdom to know how to make money, because He said He's the one who gives us the ability to create wealth. So may He help us to create wealth. Well, thank you very much. Once again, Nicholas is on 25th and 26th of this month. I hope you join us. And then the weekend after that, 2nd and 3rd of December. Have a wonderful time. Thanks.
With MTN Mobile Money, you can take your bank with you everywhere you go. Dial *170# and follow the prompts. Connect your bank account to your mobile money wallet to load and transfer money between your wallet and your bank account. Take your bank with you everywhere you go with MTN Mobile Money.
What I should take away? I bet two, No.
Experience the new world of better money.
Madina, Madam, Aula, Road.
Be your own DJ with MTN Music Plus. Download and install the MTN Music Plus app from Google Play Store and stream your customized playlist anytime, anywhere. MTN Music Plus. Just press play.
MTN.
They call me Uncle WHYTE. I am the CEO of Roman Productions, but I'm also